Hi Reds, welcome back to another huge Manchester United transfer update. There is plenty happening around the club right now, and with the summer transfer window entering its final stages, the feeling around Old Trafford is that Manchester United are certainly not finished yet. The Red Devils are still looking at ways to strengthen Michael Carrick's squad, particularly in defensive midfield, while also keeping an eye on the left-back position and several exciting young players. So, Reds, make sure you stay right until the end because there is a lot to discuss, and I want to hear your opinions on every single one of these developments. Let's start with the big story coming out of Italy. Manchester United have reportedly made official contact with AS Roma regarding French midfielder Manu Kone. This is a name that has been strongly associated with United for some time, and the latest contact suggests that the club are still serious about bringing another defensive-minded midfielder to Old Trafford before the transfer window closes. United are believed to want to go all in during these final days of the summer market, and strengthening the midfield appears to remain one of their biggest priorities. For me, Reds, this makes a lot of sense. Manchester United need more physicality, energy and defensive security in the middle of the pitch. The modern Premier League demands midfielders who can cover huge distances, win duels, protect the defence and still have enough quality to move the ball forward. Manu Kone fits that kind of profile. He is aggressive, powerful, athletic and capable of covering ground, which could give Carrick another option when United need to control difficult matches. The big question is whether AS Roma would actually be prepared to let Kone leave at this stage of the window, and if so, what kind of fee would be required. United cannot afford to waste time because we are now entering the business end of the transfer window. If the club genuinely believe Kone is the right player, this could be the moment to make a serious approach rather than simply monitoring the situation. And Reds, would you take Manu Kone at Manchester United? Is he exactly the type of defensive midfielder this squad needs, or should United focus their resources elsewhere? Now let's talk about another massive name, Eduardo Camavinga. According to reports attributed to Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United want Camavinga and have made contact with the player's camp. United had also been looking at Aurelien Tchouameni, but Camavinga is reportedly viewed as the more realistic option for now. The idea behind the recruitment is clear. United want a versatile central defensive midfielder who can run the miles, cover ground and contribute in several areas of the pitch. And honestly, Reds Camavinga would be an incredible signing if United could somehow make this deal happen. Camavinga has the technical quality to operate in midfield, but he also has the athleticism and defensive intelligence to play deeper. His versatility is one of his biggest strengths. He can cover spaces, carry the ball, win possession and help his team progress through midfield. For a Manchester United side looking to become more competitive and more intense under Michael Carrick, that profile is extremely attractive. However, there is an obvious problem. Convincing Real Madrid to sell one of their highly valued midfielders would be a monumental task. Camavinga remains a player with enormous ability and huge potential, so United would likely need to present an extremely convincing proposal. That is why the question of whether this is genuinely achievable is just as important as the question of whether United want him. Personally, if Manchester United had a realistic opportunity to sign Camavinga, I would understand why the club would explore it. He could potentially become a long-term midfield leader at Old Trafford, but United also need to be careful not to spend the entire final part of the window chasing a dream target if there are more achievable alternatives available. So, Reds, let me ask you this, Camavinga or Manu Kone? If you could choose only one midfielder for Manchester United right now, who would you pick? Moving on to the left-back position, Miles Lewis-Skelly remains a player of interest to Manchester United, but reports suggest he is not the only option being considered. United are also reportedly looking at 19-year-old Jorge Salinas of Racing Santander and a 21-year-old Club Brugge defender, Joaquin Sees. This is particularly interesting because it tells us something about the recruitment strategy. Manchester United appear to be looking at a younger age profile for the left-back position rather than immediately prioritising an experienced player. That would help explain why a move for Fulham's 29-year-old American international Anthony Robinson is considered unlikely. I actually think this approach could be very interesting. United already have several experienced players, and adding a young, hungry fullback who can develop over several seasons could be a smart long-term investment. The club need to build a squad that can compete immediately, but also has the potential to grow together. Miles Lewis-Skelly would obviously be an exciting option, but Arsenal would make any deal complicated. Meanwhile, players like Salinas and Sees could represent a different recruitment pathway, with United potentially looking for the next breakout talent rather than paying a premium for an established Premier League player. But what do you think, Reds? Should Manchester United spend big on an established left-back? Or should the club continue searching for a younger player with huge potential? There is also another midfielder reportedly on Manchester United's radar, Lamine Camara of AS Monaco. Manchester United have reportedly inquired about Camara, who is valued at around £42 million. Crystal Palace have already been linked with a proposal, while other clubs are also said to be interested. This is another name that fits the overall profile United appear to be searching for: energy, athleticism, versatility, and the ability to contribute defensively. The interesting thing here is that United could potentially be looking at several different midfield options simultaneously. Kone, Camavinga, and Camara are not identical players, but all offer qualities that could improve the physical and defensive side of the midfield. That tells me one thing. Manchester United know exactly what area of the squad needs attention. The club have already invested heavily this summer, but the midfield still appears to be an area where Carrick wants more depth and competition. Injuries, suspensions, and the intensity of the Premier League can expose a squad very quickly, so having multiple reliable midfield options could prove absolutely crucial over the course of the season. Meanwhile, there is also movement surrounding Joshua Zirkzee. Ajax have reportedly made inquiries to Manchester United regarding the Dutch striker, as Roma, Como, Juventus, and 2 Premier League clubs have also reportedly shown interest. Ajax have apparently asked United about their position on a possible deal, although a move to Amsterdam is currently considered unlikely. This is another situation worth monitoring, because United need to decide what they want to do with their attacking options. Zirkzee has shown qualities, but competition for places is going to be extremely intense. If an acceptable proposal arrives, the club would have to decide whether keeping him provides more value than moving him on and potentially creating room in the squad. For me, Reds, this is where the sporting strategy becomes really important. Manchester United cannot simply sign players because they are available. Every decision has to fit Carrick's tactical system and the long-term direction of the squad. Now let's talk about Benjamin Sesko. There is still no sign of Sesko featuring in Manchester United's pre-season, despite the original plan reportedly being for him to get some minutes against AC Milan. That target has now been missed. The expectation remains that United are confident he can be involved against Hull City, but his absence from pre-season has naturally created plenty of discussion among supporters. One of the biggest questions is his shirt number. With Sesko yet to feature during pre-season, we still don't know whether he will take Rasmus Højlund's famous number 9 shirt. Manchester United have reportedly been revealing shirt number changes before players make their first appearances, while the numbers are no longer being displayed on training gear in the same way. So, Reds, could we finally see Sesko wearing the number 9 shirt this week? It would certainly be a major moment. The £73 million striker is expected to be an important part of Manchester United's future, and the number 9 shirt would come with huge expectations at Old Trafford. Personally, I think the number itself is secondary to getting Sesko fully fit and ready to make an impact. What United fans really want to see is goals, movement, physicality, and a striker capable of leading the line for years to come. And finally, we have some very positive news regarding Matthijs de Ligt. Manchester United are reportedly very delighted with de Ligt's recovery and believe the defender is ahead of schedule. The player himself is said to be pushing hard to return to the team as soon as possible. This is absolutely massive news for Carrick. Manchester United need defensive stability, and having de Ligt back available would give the manager another experienced and physically strong option at centre-back. His leadership, positioning, and ability to deal with physical battles could be extremely important once the competitive season begins. If de Ligt can return ahead of schedule without suffering any setback, that could give United a major boost.